last thing I remember about Bill was putting what remained of his left finger down the garbage disposer in what was to be the last part of Bill's body. You see, Bill wasn't the nicest of people, and one can only take so much. Let me tell you about Bill's life. Bill was raised on a Wisconsin dairy farm, and he grew up in the 1970s, when the battle between classic rock and roll and disco came to a head. Although fascinated by the process of milking cows, it didn't seem like he'd be taking over Father's dairy business anytime soon. I was more geared toward that role. When Bill was in junior high school, he was fascinated with worms. He used to tell his worm stories, and how when he'd use those worms to catch fish, it made him feel more manly. In high school, Bill sang in the choir. He also tried out for the roller skating dance club and the Future Tortilla Makers of America, but that didn't go over very well. The school board became rather hard on Bill when Bill showed up at one of the school board meetings dressed up as a chef. Bill didn't mean any harm, but it was right after high school graduation that Bill became involved with what would ultimately be his demise. The business he started called Bill's Pickles. Bill began his work life in Milwaukee, just a short drive from the dairy farm where he'd grown up. Even as a baby, Bill had always loved pickles, so he decided to invest in a pickle stand right in the middle of the bustling downtown business district. Once, one of his customers named Brandy was abducted and blindfolded on the way home from buying some pickles. She couldn't see a thing. She screamed, yet no one came to her assistance. Turns out the awards committee for the city's light rail system had mistaken her for the 1 millionth customer of the city's light rail. Brandy had never ridden the light rail in her life. She accepted the prize anyway. Because of the near tragedy with Brandy, Bill gave up the pickle business and moved to New York City, where he decided to become an opera singer. Although Bill sang frequently as a child, he had never pursued his talents for singing. To support this venture, Bill began impersonating a street beggar, where he managed to scrape up enough money to sleep and to eat. During his intense opera training at Mrs. Sidewalk's Opera School, he developed a rash. This rash spread to his entire body. But once again, Bill seemed to overcome this setback, and within 2 months, Bill was headlining an off-Broadway production of Madame Butterfly. During his last performance before the show closed, Bill decided to stop in the middle of the performance and recite the entire how-to instructions for installing Windows 95. This did not go over very well. In fact, Bill was promptly booed off the stage. Bill spiraled downward, abusing drugs and alcohol, and was never the same again. He became bitter and mean, and well, one can only take so much. And that's where I come in. After Bill realized what he had become and that he would never amount to anything again, Bill told me to throw him off the roof of the Sears Tower in Chicago. I talked him out of it, but we then agreed upon strangulation and dismemberment. And the last thing I remember about Bill was putting what remained of his left finger down the garbage disposer in what was to be the last part of Bill's body.